with Islamic extremism, as in what is the biggest threat to America?
Do you all still believe that Islamic extremism is the number one? It's just a question. Is the number one threat to America?
According to the polls, it's at least according to this room, it's number 2.
The U.S. defense establishment doesn't believe that. When they do their annual threat assessment and like budget assessment to Congress, they rank Islamic terrorism third, I believe, in the list of priorities. It's first China, then Russia, then either Iran or terrorism or both. I can't.
Sabina, do you think that there's a Muslim congressman or senator that ever voted to be a fiscal conservative and to be prudent with spending money? Or do you think Muslim senators and congresspeople have no problem borrowing and spending on behalf of the American people? What do you think, Sabina?
Spending money doesn't have anything to do with whether one is a Muslim or not.
Yeah.
I think
quick question. Sorry, Sabina, super quick question. I just want clarification. So, Marshall, do you know what the criteria that the government bases these threats on?
They come under the National Defense Authorization Act, and it's a combination of like internal research and external research. Would you like me to? I'm in a pharmacy where I'm kind of able to do it. You want me to pull up the 2024 defense estimate for you? I don't mind.
No. I guess maybe I'm not wording my question correctly.
Marshall, just get your prescription and don't worry about the Defense Authorization Act. We want you healthy and happy, Marshall.
Could you just tell us? And make sure you have enough for us. So I rewatched The Sopranos recently, and towards the end, there's Tony Soprano's FBI buddies that were first, of course, watching him. One of his FBI guys got reassigned to Middle East affairs, and so he's not hawking Tony anymore, but as a favor, he says, we know that there's action, there's works that are being taken against you because they're bugging, they're bugging phones and such of the New York family or whatever. So is it that kind of level where our CIA agents are gathering intel and they're basing the level of threat on bugging Al-Qaeda or whomever might be the threat?
Intelligence, signals intelligence, and financial intelligence all go into making up the Defense Authorization Act, as well as the National Defense Estimate. So it's National Defense Act.
The NDAA is $1 trillion line item a year. $1 trillion a year.
Look, people, it's just analysts estimated.
Yeah.
There's no signal intelligence that's going to tell you these guys are 10% threat.
Jason, that's not my point. He was asking what all they use.
Right.
And they use signal intelligence to write that.
They use signal intelligence to produce their estimate, but they take a bunch of analysts and they say, analyst, give me an estimate. Analyst 2, give me an estimate. Analyst 3, give me an estimate.
Right, I get that, Jason. I get that. But what numbers, what factors do they change from year to year? Is it the conflict in Israel?
They may look at that, but there's not like a number that says if there's a conflict in Israel, there is a 70% chance or something like that. There is not something like that. They just have estimates.
Yeah, I would argue that Islamic aggression in the Middle East would be a threat to America's allies, which would include Israel. But I'm not sure if it's like a direct threat to America. But Mark Rubio was just recently talking about mass migration from South America, and I would assume probably that's more of a immediate threat to America.
We spend $2.7 billion a day on a security force to defend the United States of America. $2.7 billion a day for a police department?
Shut up.
No, but Marsha, I would assume that you would agree with that, right? Because there's a difference between, just real quick, if I could just get my question across, right? There's a difference between genuine immigration versus migration, which is what Mark Rubio talks about, which is mass migration. And one of the few people I heard about that were talking about that was you, Marshall, and the need for